Life is only lived once. No token in the slot machine for another chance. Here is your chance. Take it, because in a society that doesn't care, we have to learn to care for one another and pursue dreams out of reach for some, but not us. That is a quote I made on Living Life Once, and now we have an episode dedicated to it. Let's begin. Hello, friends. Whether you come from recommendation pages to comment sections to emails, hello. My name is Ryan the Author, and this is Passing the Pen. Today we're going to be going over We Only Live Life Once, do a couple things that you probably didn't realize about life, and try opening your eyes to being more productive and living life to its fullest. Let's begin. All right, so on average, the average human being has 18,250 days awake. The rest are spent sleeping, and I'm not even going to subtract time for eating. But, some people, we're scrolling on TikTok, Reels, short-form content. We're wasting time. And, that's fine. I'm conscious enough to say that I do that sometimes. But one of the things that I do see more commonly, even though I feel like everyone's done this, is, the 5-minute thing. 5 more minutes in bed. Are you getting any energy from that? To get the energy to get up. If you just don't think about it and you pounce up, you're going to be, okay, you might be a bit lightheaded, but you'll be a bit energized after you do that. But 5 minutes, you think it's not that much, right? It's only 5 minutes. You do that for a year. That is 30.41 hours a year wasted because you want to take 5 minutes every single day. And most people actually do more than 5 minutes. Some people do 10, 20. Maybe they take another, it's fine if it's like another nap and you don't have other things to do and you actually need the energy. But 5 minutes isn't going to give you the energy you're wanting. 10 minutes isn't either. 20 minutes, probably. But what I'm saying is that we waste so much time. Now you have 18,249 days that you didn't spend learning something. And I don't mean like your baby years. I mean, you're learning how to talk, how to walk. We were productive things, bro. We were so small, but in our big heads, for most babies, we are able to learn how to talk and walk. And to a lot of experiences that have become second nature to us, so much so because we've lived a lot of days already. But are you living life to the fullest? And I don't mean it to insult you. This is just a bit of a wake-up call. Life is only lived once, and if you waste it, you blink. You close your eyes for too long, and then it's gone. I mean, if you're a teenager, ask your parents. They probably blinked, and now you're, a teenager maybe, still a kid. 7 years, 18 years, whatever. It goes by like that. Like, you blink and you miss it. And one of my favorite quotes, I don't know exactly, but it's from, I think it appeared in Golden Sun in the Red Rising series, and that life is just a shout in the wind. But I don't know if Clarnus said it, but I just wanted to say, how important was your shout? How good was it? How was your shout in the wind, that got that little airtime that I did? How was it, man? Was it something that you would be proud of? You get to look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Don't hate yourself. Heck no. Love yourself and realize that you are not perfect. I feel like that is the best thing you can do. Realize that you are not perfect, but you are ambitious. Most people are. But we have lazy, ambitious people. And I've seen, shorts about lazy, ambitious people with, lazy, ambitious people. If you get them on the wrong side, then they're going to be coming after you. They're going to be working as hard as ever because they just need a reason. Well, here's your reason. Maybe you've been scrolling on motivational content for too long. Why didn't you just stop on the first one and then that fueled you for 5 more years, a decade? You're not lazy, ambitious. You're just ambitiously lazy. And I know that might be rude to some people. I do apologize if it did hit a nerve I did not want it to. I'm just saying that how important was your shout in the wind? Was it some of the best fragrances involved in it that it was so complex and that you couldn't even describe the smell on paper or in words, right? You couldn't even describe it. It just smelled like an entertaining life. We don't realize that everything around us is going to end up dying one day. And, us too on this earth at least, but depending on belief. But I'm just going to say this, is that if you have ambitions, chase them. You got to grab that little lion running away from you. Grab its tail and pull it back. And then you ride the lion into the sunset. Whoop-de-doo. But at least you live life. You're able to experience it. Ask yourself, or if you can't figure it out on something that's realistic, and maybe some people have influenced you into thinking that this is your favorite thing, but it really isn't. Try figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life and that you will never get bored of. That's a hard challenge for some people. Something that doesn't get me bored, there is no such thing. I could write for eternity. Because I'm learning how to integrate there. I'm experimenting. Maybe you love something, but you might get bored at it, but then you just try it differently, and then that flares back, right? That's how I see writing. You just look at it fully, and then basically just go full in on it once you see that there's another approach that you haven't tried yet. There's another type of prose that you haven't experimented with. There's a way to rhythm your pacing in a way that's never been seen before or has been seen before, but only once or twice, and has been described as the best pacing, right? That's something that as writers we strive for. We strive for having a good story. And what does a good story consist of? It consists of good plot, good characters, good sentence structure, good prose, good themes. That makes a story. What's your story like? I remember Kevin Hart to what's your book look like? And, maybe for some people 20 pages out of a 500-page book or a 1,000-page book, 20 pages, 50 pages or so is going to be wasted on scrolling on TikTok. Another 30 for staying 5 minutes in bed each day, every single day of your life. Okay. So, but I just wanted to ask you this, is that, can you recall at least 20% of the short form content that you said? No, it's just a dopamine thing. It's just spiking your dopamine, do this, do that. It's just tiring sometimes because you just get off and you realize, well, I didn't really do anything. And that's fine. I mean, some people need breaks, but that isn't really giving you a break. We need to be able to learn, I feel like, in life, or try mastering at least one thing. Whether it be for, some people, writing romance, or maybe it is writing fantasy, or maybe it is charismatic public speaking. Maybe it's how to be a good person, how to be a godly person, or however your religion is. Try being the best at least one thing. Because you don't think you can become the master of something until you're already there. Until you realize that I poured in around 1,000 hours. I've gotten at least some mastery on this. I would do this for another 50,000 hours. That's how I feel with writing. I mean, you gotta be able to live life, and I don't mean just scenery, this, that. That's life for sure. But life is also the experiences that you have every single day, and the experiences and conversations you have missed just because, some people, they just don't want to get out of their comfort zone. You have to get comfortable with being what most people say in motivational videos, by being uncomfortable. Be comfortable in being uncomfortable. So, Are you ambitious? Most people are. Do you want to see something? Seize the moment. It's all you've worked for your entire life. Seize the moment. It's one of the best feelings you've ever felt. You've never felt this way before. That everything, lights flashing, camera spinning, your head buzzing, stomach swirling. But some people are never able to reach that point. They're never able to reach a goal because it's too far. I can't reach that. I'm just a normal person. Everyone that was great ended up going through some similar experiences as us, especially as writers. Some of the famous writers have had writer's block or have changed as people. Like Tolkien, he just realized, I believe later on, that he didn't like McDonald's. Not the restaurant, the writer. He didn't like McDonald's. He didn't like McDonald's writing. He didn't like the fantasy anymore. And yeah, that was quite tough for him. But we still have to realize that life is so precious. And I remember seeing these things, and mankind has two lives. The first life is before they realize it's the second thing, and the second thing is realizing they only live once. And I don't mean by, okay, yeah, I live once, but I'm going to still be doing the same things. It's living once and putting action behind realizing the fact that we only live once. You have to realize that sometimes no one's going to come out to help. No one's going to come out to help or support if you don't put one foot in front of the other and climb. No one is going to help you sometimes when you're in the deepest dark. Sometimes no one helps. On religious beliefs, some people do help. But you have to be realistic with yourself and realize, I'm going to have to deal with myself my entire life, so I might as well like myself, right? And if you're in a position where you kind of hate yourself, then realize, how do I get to a place where I love myself? And you might realize that you actually do love yourself. You're just telling yourself you don't. And that you're comfortable in your own skin already. Or there's something that you can achieve and you can strive for to love yourself full-heartedly. We all make mistakes. Failure, it's all a way to access success. But success is not guaranteed in life. Some people don't realize that. They think if they work hard, they work their butt off, that success is going to, flourish from the fountains, gosh dang, get them soaked in it. I'm going to be soaked in success because I've been sweating so hard working on my craft, working on the dream. Success, I forgot who said it, but you only are able to get in lucky scenarios whenever you already get the work to get in those lucky scenarios. No one reaches a point and gets contacted by an agency without them submitting for writing. It gets their agent or whatever for a publishing company without sending their manuscript to have that sense. Or some people, no one contacts you before you write the novel unless you're a bestseller already or you're already in a publishing company. No one does. Some people might say, oh, maybe you should write. Maybe. We have to realize that our real interest sometimes, I think the quote goes, is that for some reason, our conscious already knows what we want to do for the rest of our life. It knows. That already knows that this is what I love, but it's been buried, whether it be expectations, whether it's just you don't have enough time for it. And, I'm going to be real with you. Let's just think about it like this, okay? Let's say you are an adult. If you're a teenager, you have no excuse, okay? You have time to write. I don't care what you say. Unless you're in, boarding school and you can't write, strict stuff, etc. Let's just say that you're a full-time, you do a 9 to 5 job, okay? 9 to 5. Or, okay, so let's just say you do an 8 to 5 job. Let's go beyond the normal 8 to 5 job. Okay, wake up at 6, do maybe bills for an hour, do another thing for an hour, maybe like working out, etc. Go off to work, come back from work at 5:10, 5:20. Do all the other stuff, whether you need to mow the yard or some other activity, eat dinner, all that. And then you realize it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And you're like, okay, well, I think I have enough time to write. I have enough time, or more general, I have enough time to pursue what I'm wanting to get better at. And that's if you're a full-time job with an 8 to 5 job. I get people have shift work and all that. I don't have examples with that because I don't have your schedule. But as a teenager, I've seen other teenagers, and no need to bash them. I love you guys, but other teenagers, I talk to them, and I hate to call any people out, but they're like in the 7th grade, and they're telling me, or was it 8th or 9th? Then they're telling me, they don't have enough time, they don't have enough this, they don't have enough that, and then I was just bound, determined to ask them, what's holding you up? Homework? I mean, maybe you're just not as ambitious as you thought you were. Maybe that's what you need to hear. That you weren't as ambitious as you were day one, and you need to find You need to find either a different thing, but I would recommend trying a different way of doing the thing that you're doing, like writing. Writing's not fun without experimenting. You might get bored in writing, but it's because you're just writing the same way you were yesterday. Make sure that you are trying to write instinctively, and then look back at that sentence and like, okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe you change it once. Maybe you write a sentence down and change it as soon as you get done with it. Make it better. Experiment. See what can be your voice in writing. But I'm a bit ranting, If you find the need to reach out via comment, I will respond. We can talk about this, your schedule. But most times, in most scenarios, you will realize, and I don't want you thinking, well, I'm the exception. Okay, man. In most scenarios, most worlds, you will have time to pursue. You just hate the idea. You love the idea. You hate how you're going to have to execute it. For example, I know people who wake up at 5 and work out. Cool. They go to bed early, around 8:40. But they wake up at 5, go to bed at 8:40. Or at least take a shower at 8:40. Go to bed at like 9, 10, give or take. That's a lot of time, man. That's a lot of time awake, and they're still productive. They're able to do so much stuff. But you're telling me you can't do it because, you're going to be on your phone after you eat. You're going to be scrolling on TikTok, Reels, Shorts, maybe before school. And I mean, realistically speaking, you're lying to yourself sometimes. Most people are. I don't have enough time to do this. No, you just don't want to do it. I think that's the issue, is that, we have ambitiously lazy people, like I said earlier. You're ambitiously lazy. You want to be lazy. You're just telling yourself that, I want to be great, but I'm ambitiously lazy. That's fine. But you're not able to reach a point without putting in effort. Any sort of effort. And I've said this in many videos before, but my coach used to tell me this in basketball, is that the most progression that you get is on the days you don't want to do anything. That's whenever you get that progression you've been searching for. Or how that popular quote goes, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Right? Yeah. if you can't notice, I looked at motivational content. I don't do it that much anymore because the only motivation that I have is what I want to do each day for the rest of my life. Outro time. Hello. Hopefully the video wasn't too rough for y'all. Please comment down below. Anyone. I will respond. Or maybe I'll just respond to myself if I go crazy enough. Thank y'all for watching. I hope this video helped. We only live once. We have to make sure that we take it and grasp it. And, don't reach for another coin whenever there's not any coins left.